You know, I'm like most people. I eat, I sleep, and I also get way too distracted on my phone. So I'll be taking my current messy layout and revamp it completely by deleting apps, changing settings, organizing, and some other little tricks that creates a realistic iPhone setup that helps me stay focused while still maintaining the option to use it for entertainment. I'm less concerned about taking away all distractions and more focused on keeping them all managed. But first I gotta figure out what actually needs to be changed. Then I'll show my new and improved setup in depth. And finally, after a few days, I'll decide if I'll keep my phone that way or if it's all just a gimmick and go back to normal. So if we check out the screen time of a random Monday about a week ago, 52 pickups, 15 of them were Instagram right off the bat. I do also have a lot of games here. As you can see, most of them are just completely offloaded, so I'm probably just gonna end up deleting that in a minute. Like, I'm actually okay with dabbling in the doom scrolling every now and again, but I just wanted to make sure whatever I wanted to get done gets done. And I'm sure, as you can gather, this phone here is not set up to succeed in that way. But, you know, now it's time to clean this up and hopefully not get distracted on it halfway through. Okay, so I just finished cleaning all of that up, and by far the biggest difference, as you can see here, is definitely just the organization. Like, there are probably a good 20 plus apps I ended up taking off. Some of them were offloaded, like I said, like photo math. I'm no longer in high school. I no longer have math homework to cheat on, so that was out of there. But I also took off something like Twitter because I did check it on my phone. It did distract me. And I do have it on my laptop, so if I need to check it, I could just do it there. Now, despite it being like the #1 thing I got distracted with, I did end up keeping Instagram there, but I did put a few things in place to hopefully limit that, which I'll show in a second. But as like a before and after side by side, there is a big difference, and obviously it's more organized now, but just the general aesthetic. And I didn't know this until just yesterday. If you go to Edit, Customize, setting it to large, and dark. Now that's more my style. And as far as the dock, it's the same way it was before, just with messages, calls, FaceTime, and Google Chrome. I just prefer Google Chrome. I use it on my Windows desktop, my MacBook, and my phone. It just connects pretty well. And another kind of just aesthetic-based customization change was the background. I decided to choose something a little more natural. I didn't want to give up complete character and just do like a solid blank color. That's kind of lame. So I think just picking kind of like a basic nature-based picture is good, but I'm sure within due time, I'll have to change it back to Patrick Star. And as far as widgets on my lock screen, I have one for the batteries of devices like Apple Watch and sometimes AirPods, and also the temperature because I find that to be pretty convenient. And swiping left from the homepage, I have my Spotify playlist and also the device batteries. And again, this is my main homepage. You can probably tell by now I like to see what % my devices are at. I might have actually used every single battery widget possible, and also a nice big calendar widget there. But as you can see, there's nothing there that can really blow up my brain with dopamine and tempt me with the doom scrolling, other than like maybe Spotify. But if you're doom scrolling Spotify, you're probably pretty down bad, let's be real. There's Notion, Notes, Gmail, the Govee home lighting app because I have some lights in my room that I can control. And the entire bottom row here are shortcuts, which I've never used before today. The one farthest to the right is to activate the sleep focus mode. And to the left of that is the night shift display shortcut, which makes your screen warmer, which is a lot more comfortable on your eyes and cuts back the blue light. I pretty much always have my phone in this. I just tend to turn it off when I'm recording it. And the one right next to that, you're definitely going to be able to notice here, it activates the grayscale display, which makes everything black and white. Apparently, and I don't know about this, I'm gonna try it. I'll let you know by the end of the video. It's supposed to make things less appealing, meaning you're less likely to get distracted on your phone. But something you won't notice are a lot of notifications, because pretty much anything non-essential, like messages, emails, phone calls, anything that could be time sensitive, I have completely turned off. I think the less I actually see my phone turn on, the less likely I am to, you know, pick it up and start using it. And even though I do have a pretty amazing text tone,
Who's texted me?
I almost always have my phone muted, especially when it's like right next to me or on me. Like, the notification sounds from apps are like meant to give you a hit of dopamine. It's meant to make you like feel addicted. I do also have an Apple Watch which vibrates and pops up when I get a notification. So as long as I have this on, I can pretty much disconnect from my phone completely, even with the sound off. And you know, the main point of a phone is to communicate, So it's also important to know when you're being called or texted, especially if it's like an emergency or something. So I don't think you should set all of your notifications off unless if you're like sleeping. But the final shortcut here, if I go ahead and click it, activates the work focus mode. And as you can see, a lot just changed there. And I didn't even know most of this was possible. If you go to your focus settings and click any of them, you can customize the people you're allowed to get notifications from, like in case of emergencies, and then specific apps that you want to mute or receive notifications from. And you can actually customize your screens, which can mean two things. As you might have noticed, one of them is change your background, and I went for an even more minimalistic look here. And the second thing you can do is actually customize which home screen pages are available. So I can actually just completely turn off the page with all of my social media apps. So in work mode, it just won't show up there. But you can actually take it one step further. Let's say for the mindfulness focus mode, we want it to be focused being mindful on doom scrolling. So to do that, we're gonna tap here and create a new page. Then you can edit the apps and you can select all the apps that you want to actually show up on that page. There it is. That's so beautiful, honestly. I'm about to cry. But this is the entire work focus mode, is just this one page here. I have the shortcut to bring it back to the regular mode and also the one to make it black and white. But in terms of apps, these are the only ones I really would ever need while I'm working. At the top, I have the Google Drive widget, which automatically goes to upload files. And then I have things like the clock app, if I want to set like a work timer. I of course have the Notes app, which is where I jot down quick video ideas and also have things like a to-do list. I of course have Notion, which is where I plan out a lot of my video ideas. I got Spotify for music. I have the newer app, which can help control all of my lights. I have the Monitor Plus app, which means I can pair my camera to my phone so I can monitor what it's actually recording. I have the default regular camera app here, and of course, as I recently made a video on, the Blackmagic camera app. Like I said, I didn't want my phone to be completely stripped down like the ultra minimalist style, but with the way I set up the work focus mode, I can get that. And if I want to go back to everything else, I can just simply turn it off. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. So each page here kind of has a theme. We got the basic essentials on the home page. We got, I guess, the utilities. We got all of my finance apps here. I'll go a little bit deeper in those in a second, but the final one is the entertainment page. I still have Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, only because I'm in like a few group chats there. Otherwise I would delete that too, and Discord. And under that, I have all my video streaming services, of course, YouTube, and then Netflix, Disney Plus, and HBO Max. And same thing with the games. Most of them are offloaded, so I deleted almost all of them except Bloons, Retro Bowl, and Clash of Clans. You never know when you got to pull one of those out. You know, it's not too shabby. Am I right or am I right? And then finally, I also have eBay, Mercari, and Amazon, just some shopping apps. And it was intentional to make it the farthest from the homepage. It just adds more friction before I, mindlessly start opening and scrolling through Instagram. I also added a screen time limit for these social media apps here. And yes, I can just override these and keep using them, but it just adds another layer of friction before I can allow myself to get distracted. I don't want to get sidetracked watching 30 minutes of a YouTube short when I'm trying to edit a video, but I also want to be able to maybe watch a YouTube video when I'm eating a meal. So generally all of these apps are out of sight, out of mind, but if I do need it, I know where to look. Now, if we backtrack one page, we got the finance page. This is self-explanatory. Got a nice big stock widget in the middle. I have 4 different types of credit cards because I'm kind of a finance nerd, so I have each of the apps so I can pay them off. And one of those cards is actually the Apple card, which I think is the nicest looking one, but in terms of actual purchasing benefits, it's pretty bad. I also have Credit Karma, so let's check my credit score. 760. And at the bottom, I have some payment services like PayPal and Venmo. I also have Robinhood to track some of my stock investments, and then also my bank account app to access that. And backtracking one more page, like I said, I guess it's just my utility page. I have the screen time widget right in the middle. I just have a lot of the basic apps like settings, clock, camera, maps, that type of thing. At the bottom, I have all of my food apps. I love me a good DoorDash every once in a while. I have my a gym membership, which looks a little dusty there. It's been a while. I also have a few folders with just some iOS extras with like contacts, the Find My app, Shortcuts app, and then another folder with some other extras with like Google Apps, email services, WhatsApp, and my car's dash cam app. And then finally, I have some creation apps. Most of them are just the same ones in the work focus mode, but I also have things like LinkedIn and YouTube Studio. And finally, a little inadvertent benefit of having an old iPhone or a bad battery is if you get a wireless charger, it's actually good for not picking up your phone as much, because usually you have it set in the corner. With the iPhone 17s coming out soon, it it might be time for an upgrade. It's actually kind of funny. I got an ad on Instagram, probably during one of the times I was supposed to be working, but it said, if you have an iPhone 11, trade it in for a 16e today. Although that's totally unrelated to this video. I thought that was funny and also a little bit scary because it's a little too specific. But I'll circle back after a few days rocking with this new phone setup and let you know if I'm deciding to keep it like this and just some of my general thoughts. Okay, so it's been a little bit. The first thing I can say for sure is my phone looks way cooler like this, and I definitely prefer it in the design sense. Like just organization wise, there's more pages, less folders, and the apps are all just more spread out, and I've been preferring that. And I do feel like when I've been using my phone, it's been more intentional. And if I do find myself trying to mindlessly open Instagram, it's 1, 2, 3 swipes, and then I gotta say, oh, 15 more minutes on the screen time. But by that time, it registers in my brain that, you know, maybe I should be focusing. I literally just got distracted. Oh my God. I opened Instagram for a part of the video and I literally just got distracted. This is so bad. But that is definitely happening a lot less, especially because of the screen time. That's annoying, as it should be. The only downside of that is sometimes I have friends that are messaging me on Instagram, and when your screen time is up, you don't get any notifications from Instagram anymore. So sometimes I find myself checking Instagram and saying 1 more minute on the screen time just to check the messages more than I probably would normally. So the screen time for that might be a little counterproductive. I have really loved the work focus mode, especially with the shortcut there. It really just helps separate that, you know, when I turn on my phone and it's this background here, it's like, it's time to work. And as far as the black and white mode, it does look a lot less appealing. I just don't know if it makes me use my phone less, but like a lot of the other things, it just serves as a visual reminder that, you know, I probably shouldn't be burning 30 minutes to an hour scrolling through Instagram right now. You know, all the productivity stuff aside, I am a big fan of having shortcuts on your homepage. It just feels right. I don't know why it took me so long to realize that that's an option. So I will absolutely be keeping my phone this way, focus-wise, organization-wise, and even just visually, it's better. But thank you for watching and feel free to subscribe for more.